What's up, everybody? We test to make sure we're live. I can, luckily, with the power of YouTube, I can edit this part out later if we are live. I'm gonna double check, see if we're live or not. We are, but not on the right one. But that's okay. Yep, we are live. All right. So let me do some stuff magic here on the back end, and then first, everybody, welcome to tune in. I'm gonna have everybody switch over here to this other one. Dang it. Well, you know what? Wouldn't be YouTube if we didn't have a few scripts. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
So for the folks that don't know, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
My name is Matt Champneys. I have a business called Digital Pressworks, and we help people projection map their homes for holiday decorating.
Awesome. And so what can you tell us what is projection mapping? Can you tell us exactly what kind of dive into that realm and what it is and why people should be interested? Because I know I am.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't know. And it's people ask me what I do for a living. It takes a while for me to explain. But essentially, you're using a projector and you're using your house as the screen. The mapping part of it allows you to move things around, position things just where you want it so that you can create a cool looking holiday show on your house.
Very nice. So we kind of talked for a minute. I am just now getting into projection mapping and just now learning the tech of it. I did buy your box. I did a couple videos on your box. Got a lot of great comments about your box. You kind of do a little bit of everything. Well, first of all, we back up. What's a fun fact? What's a fun fact about you that people might find interesting?
Well, I'm a Halloween haunter. That's really my main thing. So
Gotcha.
the Christmas people might not like that, but that's how I started, was doing shows for Halloween back in 2011. That was when I did my first show.
Okay.
And I put that up on YouTube and ended up getting like 1 million views, and it just went viral. And I had no intentions of making it a business, but I just had so many people who came to me and asked me if I could help them or if I could set something up for them.
Right.
And when people start wanting to give you money, then that's usually a good time to start making a business.
I'm going to agree. That's sound logic, I'm going to tell you. So it's now a business for you. Projection mapping is awesome. You started out as a haunter, and you're still mostly a haunter, correct?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What conventions do you go to? Do you go to Trans World and all? I didn't see you at Christmas Expo or Trans World this year. Maybe you're there and I missed you.
No, I mean, I'm not that crazy about it. I mean,
Gotcha.
we do a really nice display and everything, and we get some years we've had thousands of people come to our walkthrough that we do.
Okay.
But I'm a member of the Rocky Mountain Haunters group here in Utah, and we share a lot of ideas and stuff like that. I build a lot of my own props, and it's just a hobby, really, that part of it. We don't charge people to come walk through or anything like that.
Gotcha. So this is just at your home then, mostly?
Mm-hmm.
So do you do any commercials or commercial grade or commercial properties, or is it just residential, or what?
With projection mapping?
Yeah.
Mostly homes, private homes,
Gotcha.
but we do have some businesses. We've done some. One year we did a ship at the port of Los Angeles that
cool.
They wanted to project on the sails of the ship, and so that was a pretty fun project. And we've had a few things like that we've done.
So Digital Pressworks is the name of the company and the YouTube. Can you tell the folks where to find you? Is it YouTube, Facebook, where all they can find you at?
Yeah, well, the YouTube channel is just my name, Matt Champneys. It's a micro business, right? It's just me, and my family helps me out. The website is digitalpressworks.com, and the YouTube channel is Matt Champneys.
Nice. So you're not like an Instagrammer like all these teenagers doing the 0.5s and everything.
I guess I'm a little old for that, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I'm at that age where I say, hey kids, come tell me how to do this. I don't know how to do whatever insert that is.
I mean, we do have a page on Facebook, and that's Digital Pressworks as well.
Right.
But that's about it with social media. I mean, you on YouTube, you could search for Digital Pressworks, and we would come up. My name would come
Right,
up.
yeah. Yeah. What originally inspired you to so people started wanting to give you money, like, hey, you're awesome at this, you got 1 million views on YouTube originally. And people were like, hey, do this for me, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna make a job out of this type of thing. Is that right?
That's about how it worked out. Yeah. Now, I mean, originally I stumbled on this at the Rocky Mountain Haunters group. One of the
Okay.
guys there had started to do it, and I went to a presentation he had. He showed us how he was doing it, and then I just kind of took it and ran with it and added my own elements to it, and yeah, that's how it got started.
Very cool. Now, how long does your show currently run?
You mean like what dates? Is it on my house?
No, I mean, it's from the time it starts. You have like, is it 15 minutes long, 30 minutes long, or when someone's sitting in front of your home and watching your show, how long does it last?
Sure. So the videos I do, we do them in 5-minute segments, and I'm usually
Okay.
running about. I just string like 6 of them together, and so somebody could sit for a half hour in front of the house watching.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so now everybody's tuning in, and it's realized that I have done the one thing I've not done in 5 years on the show, which is delete my own broadcast like an idiot. Had to do everything backwards. Let's catch up on the chats real quick. What's up, Josh? Josh is tuning in, saying hey to us all. Let me get that ticker off there. Josh is tuning in. We got Rob. Well, I'll tell you what happened, Rob, is I'm an idiot, and I meant to cancel the Instagram, and I hit YouTube instead. Freaking stupid. Roaming with Rover tuning in from our crochet friends. What's up? We got Steve tuning in. Gabo tuning in from Mexico. What's up, Gabo? We got Dylan tuning in from South Africa. So I always say South America. South Africa. What's up there, Dylan? See who else we have in the chat. Chad Summers. Guess I was on the wrong one. No, you're on the right one. I just screwed it up, Chad. So, Matt, we were talking about, my viewers and I, a couple weeks ago, about how this has just been the summer of gremlin glitches. And just today, I'm going to add you to the list of folks who have come on with, but this time, it was my error. This is the first time it's been mine. Yes, that was weird, Gabo. Yep, I'm going to own it. Brian Michael, the one and only Brian Michael from last year's great Christmas Light Fight. Howdy, Charlie, and everybody else. And Brian, I need to get with you to schedule your time to come on for an interview. Let's see here. Eddie tuning in. What's up, Eddie? Monty's tuning in. Yep, everybody's tuning in. So I appreciate you guys' patience with me. Sorry about that, Matt. I apologize. Horrible first impression I'm giving you here.
No worries.
So is this your full-time job, being awesome at projection mapping?
It is. Yeah, I've been doing it for
Well done, you. That's awesome.
14 years now. We've been doing it.
So the history on projection mapping is it was invented, as I know it, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, it was invented by Disney back in the late 60s, early 70s as part of the Haunted Mansion ride, and just kind of exploded from there. So it's been around for a long time. It's not new tech, but it's just now kind of trickling down where the average homeowner could afford it. Would you agree with that kind of a backstory of projection mapping?
Yeah, I mean, they did like Madame Leota and stuff like that in the Haunted Mansion. That was projections, and they projected some ghosts on, well, they still do it on the netting or whatever, and that kind of stuff. As far as I know, though, it's been pretty recent they weren't projecting on the castle and It's a Small World and all that kind of stuff like they are now. That really only started within the last decade or so.
I was at Disney World. Got a teenager on the other side of the camera. She's 16. I think she was 5 at the time, so 9 years ago, we'll say. And that's what really opened up my eyes to projection mapping, is what they do at that castle. I'm like, oh my God, what magic is this? This is freaking awesome. That was
Yeah.
awesome. I'm like, I got to figure out what that is.
Yeah. And quite frankly, we feel like they took ideas from us as much as we took ideas from them.
Okay. All right.
Because, we know that they research all this stuff and
Yeah.
see what other people are doing. And I mean, seriously, there are some scenes that they started doing after we had already done them.
Okay.
And look almost identical. So we're pretty sure that,
Yeah. They're borrowing some of the genius.
Right.
Now, one question that was in the other stream that didn't trickle over here is talking about Disney and the castle. Is if Disney kind of did this 50 years ago and now they have holograms, do you think eventually holograms will trickle down to extreme Christmas light shows or extreme holiday shows?
What do you mean by holograms? Are you talking about like the Pepper's Ghost effect kind of thing that they do?
No, they're I'll get, you know what, I apologize, that's Universal Studios. I was reading the comment wrong. Universal Studios, I think, has the Harry Potter. Whoever has the Harry Potter, when you take the Harry Potter ride, apparently you're greeted by holograms that look just like in the movies. So maybe it's Universal and not Disney.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All I've ever seen is they have Pepper's Ghost and they use different kinds of screens and stuff.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean by Pepper's Ghost? It's where you use kind of a half mirror that you can see through.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do, yeah.
So I don't know. There's lots of different types of effects. And
fair enough.
I love studying that stuff and just trying to figure out how they do things for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, obviously, because I use a lot of them in my haunt, right? We don't just project on the house. We do other projections in the haunt, like singing pumpkins and like projecting shadows on the wall when, so it looks, and then having a playerless piano or organ, so it looks like the shadows playing the organ, that kind of stuff. I really love things that are, having real props integrated with projections on top. I think
yes,
really awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about. Somebody at the expo was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do some singing pumpkins." I'm like, "How in the world do you do singing pumpkins?" He goes, "You put some pumpkins in front of a projector and you make some mouse on them." I'm like, I didn't even think about that. It's easy and it's freaking cool.
Super simple, but people love it. I love it.
So digitalpressworks.com is where you buy. Everybody who's tuning in is pretty much a regular viewer of mine. We got a new country popping in. I do like it when we're on our fourth country now for this episode. What's up, Michelle, tuning in from England or the UK? Gabo, and we had where'd she go? I know I saw her. Old Swifty. She does projection as well. She and I kind of talked about doing projection at the same time. She's just 2.5 years ahead of me. Excited for this one today. Gotta start working on this year's show. Patty Ford tuning in. What's up there? Hey, Patty. So one thing that excites me about projection mapping is the memories it can create for all of our viewers. Now you have, and I spent a lot of time on you've just been cranking out new videos left and right of late. I've been paying attention to those. If you guys have not been to digitalpressworks.com, you got Easter, you got 4th of July, you got Christmas, of course, and Halloween, but a lot of different holidays. You've been cranking them out. About how long does it take you to, like, I got an idea for one till the time it's done?
Oh, gosh, it depends, but it's hundreds of hours that go into the videos. Just we're picky. We want really high quality, and it's definitely a lot of effort goes into it. Now my daughter helps me. She's actually a filmmaker herself. She produces a TV show, and she doesn't help me as much as I want her to, but
right.
But some of the video, I mean, we have like 150 videos on our website, and she probably did a half dozen of them, and the ones she's done are excellent too. So definitely.
Well, if it's okay with you, I want to take about 60 seconds here and show one of your creations. Let's see. I got Frozen, Harry Potter, Nightmare Before Christmas, or The Constitution. Which would you prefer that I show?
For Christmas, probably want to do Frozen.
Frozen. Here is about 55 seconds of Frozen, folks, and this is Matt Handy's work. Matt's handiwork at its finest. Look at that. That's just freaking cool to look at. You got the animation there. Got some magic there. Got some good stuff. How long did this one take you?
This was actually done by my daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, she spent hundreds of hours on it. I know it took her months.
One thing I really liked about this one is it takes your eye from one point of the house to the other. So, but keeping the focal point in the center of it. So there's always something new and neat to look at. You got the mountains there in the center, and then two different scenes for two different people.
Yeah, I mean, like those snow swirls, she animated all those herself, and used After Effects to do the. I can't even do that. So,
right.
She's really good at it, though. I mean, she did it all from scratch, which is pretty impressive.
One cool thing, in addition to the two different focal points that the eye has to concentrate on, is depending on where you pull up in your car, what traffic, or if there's a tour bus in front of you, it doesn't block the whole house, so it still gives somebody something to see if they're partially blocked, which I thought was an ingenious idea. Don't know if that was purposeful by your daughter, but it's freaking a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I mean, we try to make it so everybody can see.
Gabo brings up, I doesn't think his outlets would be able to bring in more light. So this projection mapping doesn't take a ton of power, correct?
No, I just run one extension cord from my garage out to the sidewalk in front, and away we go.
I want to repeat that statement for all of my extreme hobbyists that we got Christmas light fighters all over this chat. One extension cord. Bro, freaking come on.
And no climbing on the roof.
No climbing on the roof. So before we went live, I was telling Matt the story that you guys know about how I missed death last year by the drill on my ladder. I'm like, maybe projection mapping might be the way. So yes, my mailman's going to be happy this year. We're going to have a great time, not tripping and falling, and having a dynamic show. What are some tips? What are some 3 tips? Like, hey, if you're just starting out, don't do these 3 things, or here are 3 things you should do. What are some easy tips for
us? One thing I run into a lot is people need to understand that the closer the projector is to the house, the brighter the image is going to be. So in order to accomplish that, you definitely want to use a short throw projector. And sometimes it's not. People say, well, I want to set it on my sidewalk, or I want to set it in this particular spot. And that's not always necessarily the best. Sometimes you want to move it closer. And there's things you can do if you need to put it in your lawn, for instance, you could use some pavers or whatever to make a stable platform or whatever. But the big mistake that most newbies do is they put the projector too far from the house. And so they're wasting a lot of the projector's resources projecting on nothing. And now, if you're using a standard throw projector, you're going to have the opposite problem, right? You're going to have to put the projector across the street in your neighbor's yard. So for some rural people, that might be fine. They might have that kind of space. But for most people in a town, you're going to need a short throw projector, and you want it nice and close to your house so it can be nice and bright and sharp.
So what advice is to be mindful of how far it is? What are a couple of other helpful tips to start out?
Well, and another point on that is that short throw projectors don't have zoom lenses typically. So the size of the image is totally dependent on how far that projector is from the house. So that's really important. And then, ultimately it's the quality of the projector that is going to dictate the quality of your show. Of how it looks, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of really good projectors out there, but you probably the internet's really been flooded with these little LED projectors from China that are really cheap, and they say they're super bright, and it's just they're not telling you the truth. They're just not nearly as bright as they say they are. And unfortunately, it like anything else, you get what you pay for. And if
Yeah.
so there's a lot of dishonesty that way, unfortunately. But on the other hand, if you need to save money because it can get really expensive, I would always suggest that you get a used projector, a used high quality used projector, rather than a cheap new projector.
Gotcha.
You're just going to get results.
Yeah, what I did is first of all, I built your box before I did anything, and after building your box, I'm like, I'm never doing this again. It'd have been easier and much more worth $1 just to pay you to build my box. So thank you for taking my money and building me a second box. I appreciate that. Plus, having it, I can look at it like, oh, that's what I did wrong over here and fix that. But no, to your credit, your blueprints, if you will, are freaking easy to follow. I'm just not a woodworker guy. You don't even have to be. I built the box fine. I just got tedious and it took too long. I had to buy tools to build the box. I'm like, I should have just given back my money. And then I did.
Yeah. I mean, we crank them out, so we know, we've got all the tools and everything on hand. We've got the skills and everything. I mean, I never thought that I'd be a manufacturer by any means, but it just kind of worked out that way. But it just occurred first when we first started doing it, we were just doing videos and telling people to build their own boxes. And then so many people came to us and said, I can't build a box. I don't know what to do. Yeah. Can't you just do it all for me? And so we said,
which is the easy way, right?
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't think they would sell very much because kind of expensive, and I didn't think people would understand what they were getting. But wow, we've sold a lot of them.
I've been bragging the heck out of them. So what I did to circle back to projectors is I got the Optima, was a 1090 HDR, and I said, hey Matt, this is the projector I have. Will it work for your box? You're like, yeah, actually, that'll work perfectly. Monty has a question here. What's a price range of a quality projector to use for a yard?
Well, that's a good question. The range is from about $600. I'm talking about new here. If you're buying new, from $600 to about $1,800. If you're buying used, it can be substantially less than that. But one trick you can do is because the bulbs wear out, and over time the bulbs start to dim, and so a lot of the used projectors, their bulbs are kind of used up. But if you get a good deal on a used one, then you can afford to buy a replacement bulb, and you can end up getting new performance out of a used projector. That's a pretty good deal.
It's a great deal. So at the expo, I took a mapping class a month ago now, and got a lot of good stuff out of that class. But one advice I got that I never even heard of this, is the guy's like, yeah, I got like a $10,000 projector for $800. Like, man, what was wrong with it? Because no, schools every year across the country they have their $10,000 projectors, and they sell them at auction after they use it for 100 hours. Like, I never even thought about going to auction sites.
Yeah.
School projector.
Now, there is one thing about those big venue projectors is they're huge usually.
Right.
And so they won't fit in one of our boxes typically.
No.
I mean, you can modify the plans that I have on the website there, though, to make a bigger box. It's definitely possible. I used to use one of those big venue projectors a while back, and so I had a bigger box, but it was really inconvenient to move around and stuff. And so eventually, when laser projectors started becoming mainstream, I got one of those because they're fantastic. Gotcha. They're more expensive, but if you can afford it, they're worth it.
Now, I guess we have an opportunity here to ask the mechanic what kind of car he drives. So Matt, what projection are you currently using, or projectors? I guess
projector. The projector I'm using is actually discontinued. It's been out for a while, but it's one of the Optimas. We have a list of recommended projectors on our website, and it's similar to those. you can't get it anymore unless you buy used, I guess. It's
Gotcha. Michelle's asking, what's your favorite brand? Epson, Optima, or other?
I really like the Optimas. I've had really good luck with those. They're always super bright and yeah, excellent projectors.
Now, Kurt here has his priorities correctly. He is done working for the day and is here now. What's up, Kurt? Tuning in from Florida. Let's see here. Catch up on comments a little bit. Let's see here. If you really want to get into Christmas lights, talking to Gabo. So Chad has a Epson Powerlight 95 projector he got from a school. Topical because we're talking about getting from school. Have you ever ordered a projector off an auction site or bought used and had an issue with it? Or are they normally the only problem just the bulb?
I brought projectors on eBay. Yeah, and usually that's the problem. It's just it's the bulb.
Gotcha.
Because so with laser projectors, the brightness, I mean, you never replace the lasers in a laser projector. It's going to be for the life of the projector. Yeah. It's pretty much going to be its max brightness. With a typical traditional, bulb, they just dim over time. So, and it's a long, slow process, but that's why I think for projection mapping, even if you buy one of those with the traditional bulb in it, you're gonna want to replace that bulb probably more often than the manufacturer suggests, just so you can keep it at the maximum brightness. Because with projection mapping, brightness is everything, really, especially for Christmas. Because what happens is you're on your street, you've got your neighbors who have their traditional Christmas lights, they've been climbing on their roof and stuff, and so you're comparing the projection in brightness to all of that brightness that's going on. And so, yeah, if you want to compete, you got to have a bright projector.
2 weeks ago, we had J.R. Matos on from Matos Designs, and he has a brand new DMX light beam called the Phoenix Ray. And that is specifically designed, and he brought this up because it's designed where if you don't want it to hit your neighbor's window, you can black it out. Because what a lot of projection mappers are doing is making sure that swipes up against the street light sensor to tell it, hey, it's not nighttime, it's daytime, turn off, please, so my show is seen better. Like, it's a genius selling point for projection mapping enthusiasts.
Yeah. Street lights are always a problem. In my town, they replaced the regular old street lights with these super bright LEDs at one point. And if it shines directly on your house, then you're in trouble, because too much ambient light can really wash out a projection. What it does is it just kind of takes all the blacks out of it, so it makes the image look kind of muddy. So I started using a laser to turn off the projector.
That's what I was asking about. He goes, a lot of people use lasers too, but
I mean, I've never done this. Some people use like a garbage can, upside down garbage can, put it on top of the light pole. Yeah. There's all kinds of things you can do, but the laser thing worked great on mine. But there are, every one is different, and so some might be more effective than others. It's just something you have to work toward. But obviously, you don't want to have your lights on in front of your house. Combining traditional Christmas lights and projections is a challenge, because you always have to worry about that light overspill. That's definitely something you have to consider if you want to do that. I mean, people do it, and some people do it really successfully, but you just have to be aware.
Yeah, on my house, I have street lights on either side of me, but I've had 80,000 lights, 100,000 lights. Yeah, the street lights are no problem. Now it's going to be a problem. So I got the Optima. I think it's 4,000 lumens if memory serves. Not bright enough, so I'm gonna have to up my game. This year's kind of a trial run, learning everything, having a show of some sort. And then next year's where I'll dive into a little bit better tech.
And I've got an article on the website if about streetlights and how to deal with them, if people want to check that out.
Great question. How do projectors work in heat, and how do you address that in the box you make?
Yeah, that can be a problem. Especially 4th of July, you know, you get out there and it's hot weather, the projector can overheat. Some projectors handle it better than others, I've found, but um, our box has a fan in the boxes we sell. And if you're building your own
Yeah.
box, we definitely recommend you put a fan in it, and so that you can get some airflow going. That that seems to work for me even in the summer. I mean, I'm in Utah, so it doesn't get too crazy in the summer, just maybe in the 90s or whatever most of the time. But and the fan seems to handle it. In the South with the humidity, you know, I don't know. I haven't seen the humidity particularly affect the projector, but um, it's
Okay.
definitely, you don't want to run it without a fan. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it'll freaking melt on you.
Yeah,
I think because they create a lot of heat because there's a lot of light, you know, so
it
you
is.
get
Yeah.
a lot of heat.
Actually, I get a lot of people asking me, well, I'm in Canada or I'm in Minnesota or whatever.
Yeah.
Is it going to be too cold? And cold is not the problem. Cold's never going to be the problem. The problem is always going to be the heat.
So I guess that lights and lights brings up a good question, kind of. So there's for projectors, they use LEDs, they use lasers, and they use bulbs. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yeah, so lasers are the best because they maintain their brightness the longest. Regular bulbs can be good, though. There's a lot of high quality projectors that have regular bulbs like that. The LEDs are not good. Not
Okay.
for a whole house projector. Now, I mean, there's, like we talked about, singing pumpkins and, you know, small
Yeah.
projects like that. Could an LED projector could be good for that, but for a whole house, it's gonna be too dim. They just lie. I mean,
Yeah.
they tell you it's 9,000 lumens, and it's not even close. Not even
What
close.
is it? Native resolution? What there's native lumens? What's the number to pay attention to on the packaging?
Well, ANSI lumens is
ANSI, that's it.
the standard, but they're not saying ANSI lumens. They're saying
Yeah.
it's just lumens. It's their own thing, right? How they're going to measure
Yeah.
it. So they're using a totally different scale, and so I mean that's how they get around not telling the truth about the brightness of the projectors.
Yeah. If you're getting a 1 billion lumen projector for $99, not not going to be a good one.
No, for a whole house projection, I would always recommend just avoid the LEDs altogether. And I mean, if you want the best technology right now, it's lasers. If
Gotcha.
but it, you know, traditional bulbs are probably more cost effective because they are cheaper.
Mhm.
But the LEDs are not worth it at all.
Gotcha. Laura brings a point that she washed her projection out a bit with she had 2,000 LEDs on, and it was hard to see her her mapping show with the lights on in the yard.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're going to run like a programmed show where you could maybe dim those lights during the times when you have the projection going, or if you want to, I don't know, some people they'll do projections on the side of the house and put their
Yeah.
traditional lights in the front so they don't interfere as much. Basically those kind of things. Yeah.
And Kirk, to answer your question, it is digitalpressworks.com. And I must applaud you on the name of your business because you're very highly intelligent. You saw the Halloween coming and the Christmas and the different holidays, and you didn't pigeonhole yourself into the Halloween mapping guy or the Christmas mapping guy. Well played, you sir.
Yeah. Yeah. First, I mean, I don't know. My kids think it's kind of a lame name, but
Love it.
whatever.
Love the name.
It's
So in
what we
addition
do
to
that's most important.
yes. So let's get that's a great segue. So what you do. So if you guys have not been to digitalpressworks.com, go. Great website, tons of information on there. It's not a hey, go and you can buy these four things. It's a start to finish, A to B. You don't sell projectors per se, but you give a ton of information on what to choose. So if you are coming out with it, is it you're rebuilding the website or retooling it? Is that right?
Yeah, we kind of redid it this year a little bit.
Nice.
Actually, what happened is I bought a really nice camera this year so that I could get
Right.
really good live videos of what it looks they all look like on our house.
Right.
So I've been going through and replacing some of the old ones so people can get a better idea of what
Oh,
they
nice.
really look like. So that's been my big project this year.
So for someone who is getting into projection mapping, like, hey, I'm diving in head first. I want to make sure this is good. What can they expect cost wise and time wise that they'll need to put in for a pixel show? Let's say they say if you're not into it by July, you're not going to get your show done that year. So is that
Wow.
true for projection mapping as well?
You need about 3 weeks. That's
amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, if you're willing to let us do a lot of the work, that you know,
There you go.
if you because you need about 2 weeks to get all your equipment together, and then we need at least another week to do your videos for you. But that's really it. Now, if you're going to build your own box, or if you want to make your own videos, I mean, like I said, that can take hundreds of hours if you want to get crazy about it. But yeah, if you want to use our system, what we recommend and stuff, you can have a show going in 3 weeks.
Wow, that's freaking amazing. Last week I had Fred Zimmerman on from Christmas Light Contractors, and I was bragging about your company and what you do. Because I need to get a hold of Matt. He decorates a lot for the Hallmark Christmas movies and stuff.
Oh, cool.
He teaches people how to do a bunch of different stuff. Because I need to figure out how to get a hold of him. Like, well, here's how you do it. And I need to hire him to do a show for me. Like, I think he does custom shows. You'll have to ask him if that's what he does. So if you got somebody, say, from a company or residential show, like, hey, I want you to create a show for me. And how does that happen?
Yeah, we do that, but like I said, we're a small business. And of course, this is a really seasonal business. So basically what we say is from January through July, we can create a custom show for you from scratch. You just need to we charge by the hour for that kind of work. We need to know what you're looking for, and then we can give you a quote based on how long we think it'll take us to do it. The existing shows we have, we can customize those to fit your house. We don't change the content. We just move everything to the correct position so it's going to look nice on your house. Those ones, that's mostly what we do, and that, we're just slammed pretty much all through the fall and winter. And so we don't have time to do custom shows during that because we're just so busy. We're busy building boxes. We're building, getting those shows customized for people's houses.
Michelle asks, have you known anyone to use reflective paint on their brickwork? And if so, does that work?
Reflective, I mean, any light color is reflective for a projection, really. I mean, you could get crazy and start using like screen paint and stuff like that. But for my house, if you, like you showed that Frozen video, obviously I have some like cream colored stucco and I've got red brick, and I've thought about just painting my whole house white. So like, it'll look so awesome if I do paint everything white. But then I'm like, yeah, but most people don't have an all white house. I really want, I want people to see what it looks like on different surfaces and stuff. So that, because it's going to look better on the lighter parts than it is on the darker brick and so forth. But on lighter brick, it can look good too. So a lot of it, just depends. Now, I mean, if you want to paint, go for it. I mean, it'll make the display look fantastic. I do not discourage anybody from doing that, but it is a lot of work, and I mean, it depends on what you want to do.
Fair enough. When I met my wife, I had a lovely green top half to a light green top half to my house and a lovely blonde brick. Then she's like, "No, you don't like these colors. You want everything dark." I'm like, I now have a dark house, but once upon a time, it was perfect for projection mapping.
Yeah. Some people will throw up like canvas or whatever. Like if you have a dark garage door, they'll cover the door with painter's canvas, or find different ways to do it. I have never done that before, so to be honest, I don't have a lot of advice on doing that. I just know it can be done. Anything light, lighter colors are always going to be more reflective, and you'll be able to see the image more sharp.
Rob has reminded me that people in the chat are wanting to know what you charge for your services. I will tell you that when you buy the box like I did, you get 2 songs for free, which is awesome. I appreciate you throwing that in there for us. But the songs are about 119, and what else do you got?
Yeah, like I said, we do approximately 5-minute segments, and each of those we charge $119. And you're not buying the song from us. You're buying our services to customize it to fit your house, right? I mean, we don't own the copyright for all of these things, but you're not paying us for that. You're paying us for our customization work. So that's not, doesn't include any equipment, right?
Right, yeah.
So our equipment packages, you can buy one that doesn't have a projector. Say you found a special deal on a projector, or there's a specific one that you want that we're not offering. We do that. That starts at $899.
Worth it.
Then the next, the cheapest one that includes a projector is $15.99, and that includes a 4,000 lumen projector. But it's a 720p projector, so not quite as sharp. It's not full HD like you're used to on your TV. And then the top of the line one includes a awesome laser projector, and that one goes for $24.99.
Nice. Folks, if don't build your own boxes, it's cheaper, it's better. Do it. You guys can all go check out my video. I have 2 or 3 videos on your boxes, and I'm a fan. Obviously, I'm a fan. See, Ronald's tuning in saying flex lumens are cheap lumens.
Yeah, those are.
Let's see. Laura's asking, how do the videos come? For example, can I order a video and just throw it on my video editor and add color in the file versus editing it with projector settings?
Okay, so we do all the editing for you. The videos aren't editable. I mean,
so they need, Laura, as an example, she would need to send you an outline of her home. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have a tutorial for drawing your map, and then you send us the map, and then we fit our video to your map, and then we provide it as a download right from our server, so you can download the video. And since it's been customized to fit your map, then it's going to line up perfectly with your house.
And to Rob, answer your question, for $899, I can tell you from experience, you get the 2 videos, you get the fan, you get the box, you get the earth anchors, you get the Falcon Pi. No, the Falcon Pi player. No, my little computer. It's right there above my head.
Media player.
You get a ton of hardware. Yes, you get a ton of hardware in there. FM transmitter.
There's an audio amplifier built in. So, and the FM transmitter, so people can listen in their cars. And I don't crank it up really loud because, my city and I think most cities have noise ordinances, but just enough so that people walking by can hear and see hear what's going on with the video. And I know a lot of people, we get big groups come and just stand there and watch. And so you need audio for them to be able to hear, in addition to people who just stay in their cars. So
they are marine speakers, so better waterproof.
Yeah. And the speakers are marine speakers, so they can be splashed and rained on and snowed on with no problem.
Let's see. Bo's turning in tips on starting up a show on a house made from brick. Here's why, because I have a brick house and a stone house, and one thing I'm envious of all brick houses is I've seen some very cool brick effects where it looks like the house is just melting and the bricks are just falling down. I think that's
that can be done for sure. It's tricky with the brick. It really depends. If it's lighter brick, it could be fine. If it's darker brick, then you're just going to need a really bright projector. And you may need to either use more than one projector. That's possible. It takes more cost and more of a challenge to set up, but it can be done. remember what I said earlier is you got to get those projectors close to the house. So if you've got a darker surface, then you especially need to get that close to the house. And you may need to just say, okay, I'm only going to do this one small part of the house, because that's that way you can move the projector even closer. And people do get really great results that way. Or you can, use more than one projector, have them synced, and that way you can have all those projectors close to get a good image.
And then Cheryl's like me. Cheryl said, I bought your whole kit and caboodle 2 years ago. Love it.
Awesome. Thank you, Cheryl. I remember you.
Said I'm letting Charlie spend money on projection mapping so he can test and provide pros and cons before I invest. That's why we got Matt here, because Matt's already done all that for us. So Matt, on your show, is it projector and some honking stuff? Do you use DMX or moving heads or anything in addition?
I don't. I mean, that stuff is cool, and I love to see those kind of shows. I've just never got into it. I mean, combining projection mapping with other kinds of displays, it does intrigue me. I've just never done it.
Yes. The goal is projection mapping, and I'm awesome at it. And then adding 4 moving heads next year. That's my goal. We'll see if it comes to fruition, but that's a lot of money, and I'm fairly positive I'm gonna have to buy a second projector or upgrade the one I have to a higher lumen count.
Yeah, I think I'll wait and watch you do it, and then
I appreciate that about you. I need a checkbook. Yeah. So what are some misconceptions that people get wrong? And like, I thought projection mapping was going to do blank for me. Or what are some things you hear a lot? Like, yeah, that's not correct.
Probably the main thing is people are coming from a traditional Christmas light kind of background, and they're expecting it to look like that. And it's a different medium. And so, like, I've had a lot of customers say, hey, I want you to make me a video, and I want you to make it look like I have lights all over my house. And I'm like, it's never going to look like your neighbor next door when they have real lights and you have a projection. It's never going to look the same. The advantage of the projection mapping is that you're covering everything, right? And you can do it in unique ways. And so we do have some videos that look, a little bit like traditional lights, but
your Christmas vacation one, you got amazing huge C9000 bulbs just kind of going through the whole process. That's one of my favorites, actually.
But see, we do it that way instead of trying to duplicate, exactly what the house looked like. And so there are a lot of cool things you can do, but don't approach this thinking, oh, I want it to look just like my neighbor's house who's, got all these lights up. Your show's going to be awesome, but it's going to look different. And so if you go into it with that understanding, you can get really great results and you won't be disappointed.
And for those who want to follow on my journey, I was talking about earlier, I am currently using a LumaBox, who has a YouTube channel. It's a really cool channel called LumaBox. I'm currently on her 5-step tutorial. I'm stuck on number 3. Been stuck on number 3 for about 15 hours. Been working on it all day today and yesterday. So that's my current obstacle. What is a normal obstacle for someone to go through projection mapping? Is it learning tech? Is it trying to do things too cheaply? What would you think?
Doing things cheaply can be a problem. You're going to need to know some tips, and we've actually got an article on our website that kind of gives tips for how to save money at every stage of getting the equipment. It's all about the equipment. That's the most difficult. The other thing is we just really try to keep things simple. In my opinion, a lot of people overcomplicate it. And I'm not trying to be critical of what other people are doing. There's a lot of people doing awesome stuff out there, but it's really not that difficult. And I see them using more complicated software and systems that just aren't really necessary. And it's a lot more difficult to learn how to do those things. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm always big on keeping it simple, stupid, and
Yeah.
just practical application is a big thing for me, right?
What
There's a lot.
software do you use?
I use my own. You can download it on our website.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to that page. I didn't even know that. Okay, I'm learning new things. Learning new things. I love it.
Yeah, so definitely go check that out. It's free. We give it away for free, and all you're doing is drawing. I mean, you could use Microsoft Paint to do this, right? But our
Oh,
software
to draw the house. Yeah,
to
yeah.
draw the house, our software is better because it lets you draw all the way to the edges. And I mean, I actually commissioned somebody to code this software just so it would work the way I wanted it to work. And so we give it away to everybody. We're not trying to make money on it. We want to make it easier for people to be able to draw maps, because the map is the projection mapping. If you don't have a good map, then
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I think using our software to draw your map, and then just using a decent video editor to make your video if you want to make the videos yourself.
And what video editor do you use?
Well, I use Adobe products, and that's kind of the industry standard, but it is very expensive. But there's like Filmora is a really good one that's much less expensive. There's one called HitFilm that actually has a free version that you could definitely you could make a projection using that. And then you can step up to their pro version, which costs money. But if you want to make the videos yourself, there's a lot less expensive ways to do it than to buy the 3D projection mapping suite that's supposed to do everything for you. And
yeah. You talk about that new one to market. It's like 7,000. You sit down in front of your house and it scans your house.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't researched all of them, but
now I was a big fan of your software.
I hate to be critical, but like Luxido, for instance, I've seen people get great results with Luxido, but in my opinion, it's just a mess. I mean, the setting it up is difficult. I have so many people coming to me asking me how to use their Luxido system because they can't figure it out. And I help them. I know something about it, and but all the while I'm thinking, if they had just stuck with the simple stuff like we have on our website, they could have got the results they wanted for a lot less money and a lot less hassle.
I actually thought they might be at Expo or Transworld this year. They weren't at it either. That's projection mapping. There wasn't anybody for projection mapping at as far as hardware goes at either convention. So I'm like, come on, guys. I was armed with questions and nobody was there.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as hardware goes, all we're doing is we're creating a package of stuff you could buy off the shelf yourself. I mean, that's where I start. I'm a do-it-yourselfer, right? And I'm just trying to help other people be able to do it themselves too, to some degree. And I'm willing to, if they're willing to pay me, I'm willing to do the work, also, but I'm doing it like a do-it-yourselfer would do it. And that's, to me, it's practical application. It has to work, first of all. And second of all, it has to be affordable.
Where'd it go? Chad asked a good question. I know what you're talking about when you say short throw and long throw, but Chad's house is 20 feet from the street. Can you talk about the different projectors and kind of how far back they can go?
Sure. So throw ratio is basically how wide the image is going to be versus how far your projector's from the house. So, or the screen, I guess is what it would be. So if you got the projector 20 feet from your house and you're using a short throw projectors, which typically have a 0.5 to 1 throw ratio, basically your image is going to be 40 feet. Projector's 20 feet away, image is going to be 40 feet wide. So you can kind of use that as a rule of thumb. Now you can overcome some, if that doesn't seem like wide enough, you can overcome some of it by actually going at it from an angle. So if you go at the house this way, I don't really know how to explain it, but if you move to the side, the house can look skinnier in the frame, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so,
it does. I know what you're talking about.
You have to be careful though, because if you go at too extreme an angle, you're going to lose brightness and sharpness, because those, it's the pixels are the little squares that the projector is throwing up on your house. If you move too far to the left, they're going to get, what's the word? Skewed.
Yeah.
They're gonna get stretched, and
yes.
And yeah. And of course, your projector has a finite amount of brightness that it's trying to put on your house. And so if you're trying to cover more area with the same projector, it's going to be less bright.
Yeah, the biggest thing that bewildered my brain, I had to think about in order to make sense, is that it doesn't produce black light so much as it just, because I have to put like black boxes when I'm mapping my house out. I'm like, I don't want it to show between the roof, the wall, and the gutter. I don't want this triangle to be shown with that blacked out. Like, I have no idea how it even knows how to do that, but it does somehow.
Yeah.
It's all new science to me.
Well, like on my house and all the sample videos I have on there, I do go at it from an angle. I'm not going straight at the garage door. So it can be done, and you can get great results that way. You just have to be really careful. I've had some customers try to do just really crazy angles, and it's just not going to work well.
And then, Thomas, it is digitalpressworks.com. I did type that into the chat for you.
There you go.
Boom. There we go. What is your favorite part of working in this industry, in this genre of decoration?
Oh, gosh. I mean, the reason I did my haunt, or I do any displays at all, is I love the people out in front of my house enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so many families in the area have kind of made it a tradition to come by our house. And I think families are really important, and I love being able to help give them some family memories to add to their scrapbooks or whatever.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And I love it when the kids get in the driveway and start dancing to the music, and they love to see their shadows. I mean, some people are like, they're ruining the show. I'm like, that's so much fun. They become part of the display, and I think that's totally fun.
Creating family memories is assisting in creation of family memories.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly right. That makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, and I just totally love that.
Yep, Chad agrees with us as well. Chad's got a good question about trees and things in the yard between the projector and the house. For an example, you guys have probably seen tons of my videos with me standing in front of my stone wall. All those bushes are getting torn out. With my wife's permission. Not dumb. Maybe stupid, but smart, I'm not dumb, right? Yeah, they're all getting torn out. So I'll throw you some mums and daffodils and something in the spring. Okay, take the bushes out. So to give me a nice clean surface. But that can be a problem with projection placement, right?
Yeah. So the nice thing about short throw projectors, though, is that you can do things that you wouldn't with a longer throw. I'm just like, think about standing, say you've got a tree on your lawn, right? If you stand right next to that tree and look at your house, you're not seeing the tree, right? So if you're across the street, though, the tree is covering everything. But that's why short throw projectors solve that problem, because you're putting the projector really close to the house. You may be able to put it right next to that tree and avoid it altogether. Just with your positioning of the projector.
And you can use multiple projectors.
You can.
One show. Yeah.
Yeah. We've got an article on the website that explains how we set up a multi-projector system. like I said, it is more expensive. It takes more work to set up, but it can be done. And we do have customers who do it for sure.
So, are there any? If there's for a beginner or for a mediator, somebody's been doing this for a couple of years. Are there one or two you have to have this type of products? Whether maybe taking the projector aside, is it the FM transmitter? Is it the right type of mini computer? What are some must-have products for those who want to be a projection mapper?
Well, compared to some other systems, I'm really all in. I mean, what really changed when I first started, I was using a DVD player. Okay, just to give you an idea.
Nice.
And then I graduated to well, I should say I tried the DVD player. The quality wasn't good enough. Then I advanced to using a Blu-ray player. But what really changed my life was finding these little digital media players. I mean, they're about this big, right? They're little. They're just tiny little computers, kind of like a Raspberry Pi. Really, is what they are.
Right.
But they're dedicated to just playing video. And some of the different systems, they try to do everything wirelessly, like stream the video from the internet and go through your Wi-Fi. And there's just so many things that can go wrong, from one thing to the next. Whereas if you have your own little computer, your own little media player sitting out there in your box with just one short cable connecting it to your projector, that's going to be the ultimate performance, because there's just not a lot. So it goes back to what I was saying, to keep it simple, right? The more simple you can keep it, the fewer problems you're going to have, and the easier it's going to be. And so some people want to try to use their computers. They'll even leave their computers outside.
Yeah.
And
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
And I mean, that works. It does work.
Sure,
it's just, I wouldn't want to leave my laptop out there. But those
laptops are expensive. Mini computers are not, comparatively.
Right. And so, I love those little media players, and I think that's a fantastic way to go.
Thanks, Polarscapes, became a new member of the show. Appreciate that. Appreciate your support. Chad has a brilliant idea. Just chop the trees down.
Yeah, that'll
like
work.
Cheryl's husband. So, appreciate you, Polarscapes. Yep. It's awesome. I appreciate you having on and supporting the channel. I am excited to announce that I am going to become a new affiliate for Digital Pressworks coming soon. Yes?
Hopefully. We'll see.
Heck yeah. So what I plan to do is document my journey as I'm using your equipment and using your tutorials. And you really are a huge help to, whether you know that or not, you probably do, but just a genuine thank you to you for all the work you've done over the years. That I've been paying attention to your site for probably 2 years, maybe 3. But yeah, so obviously you never know the work you put in, the hours you put in, kind of like the people who are watching your show. You never know who's going to digitalpressworks.com and creating a show to create family memories. So you're the seed that became the oak, if you will, or acorn that became the oak.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we started doing it before most people were doing it. I mean, people are doing projection mapping, but to do it for the masses, I guess, to the average homeowner, make it so that the average homeowner could do it.
Yeah.
We were kind of the pioneers in that area. And I mean, I'm totally happy to have lots of people doing it. I don't feel like I need a monopoly on the market or whatever. I think there's enough business for everyone to go around, just because it's such a cool idea and people are discovering it. And
it's an awesome idea.
A lot of people switching from the traditional lights to the projections and loving it.
My goal is projection this year, and then integrating more things next year. And all like washout. That's a joining thing. That's why I'm not doing my lights this year, because I don't want that washout. I want to be able to give this in with both feet type of thing, and see how it goes.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for you. I think you'll have a great show.
Oh, that's Chris. Hey, what's up, Chris? That's Chris Mimsy. That's who she was. I always forget Folks will have one name on YouTube and one name on Discord and one name on Patreon. I always get all the names mixed up. So what's up, Chris? But thanks so much, Matt, for coming on the show today. Don't go anywhere. Hang out in the green room with me just 1 second before we let you go, though. Do you have anything, any last minute advice or anything to anybody?
Just we have it all laid out there on the website. If you don't know what to do, if you have no idea where to go, just go to our getting started page and it'll give you all the basics, and then you can, so you kind of get an understanding of how this is going to go, and then you can dig into the details from there. And yeah, that's really the best way to go.
And one of my favorite things about doing my live streams is all the different countries that are coming in. So right at the last minute, from My Kiwi Christmas from New Zealand, that's our 5th country in today's chat. I love all the different folks from all over the world coming in and chatting with us. So hang out with me just for a second, Matt. Appreciate everybody tuning in. My apologies for the error on my part. My first error of the season, where I accidentally deleted the stream. You know what? We're here. We made it through. We did a great time. The Ho hats behind me are in. There's the QR code if you would like your own Ho 3 hat. But that's the QR code to get one. Yeah, if you guys absolutely need to check out digitalpressworks.com. I know, Laura, you're big into mapping. We've had a lot of newbies in the chat today that are into mapping. We're going to have a lot of people watch us back later that are into mapping. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. Next week, we have from Holiday Coro. HolidayCoro.com will be in here for you Pixel folks. We're not forgetting about you. So we went from AC lights last week, projection mapping next week. Next week is HolidayCoro.com. We'll be here right on the live stream with the owner of the company. That's about it for me today, guys. I'm Charlie, and I will see every single one of you in the next video. Bye, guys.